today is 23rd of June 2023, and we want to have a look at addition or adding and subtraction or subtracting of fractions. We started looking at fractions, and we said that a fraction has a numerator, which is the top number, and it has a denominator, which is the down or the lower number. And we said fractions, we saw how fractions are written. So like 3/7 is a fraction, 1/2 is a fraction, 2/5 is a fraction. And before then, I said to you that we have decimals, we have whole numbers, we have mixed numbers. So before we did all these fractions, started fraction, we went through all of those in our previous video. Please, you can have a look and catch up. Okay, everything is there available for you, especially if you are revisiting or writing your GCSE. You need to learn this concept because you may use one or two of the concepts to solve a question. The more you learn this concept, the easier it becomes. You shouldn't see a question and be thinking, oh, how should I solve it? If you are good with some of the things we are discussing, it will naturally come. You just see the question, you say, okay, I'll apply this, do this here, do this. When we get to that point and we start solving more questions, you will see. So that's why I'm trying to introduce you some of the basic topics so that you can see. Okay, so we want to add fractions. Yesterday, towards the end, I explained to you how to make the denominators the same by using the multiples. So for instance, you have 3/7 and 1/7. They have the denominators, so it's easier to work with that and arrange them in order of value. But assuming you had 3/5 and 1/7, you can't just add it. You have to put the denominators and make the denominators the same before you add or subtract. Okay, so now look at this example. The example I've given you here today is straightforward. 3/7 add 1/7. Okay, the denominators are the same. So okay, so when we want to add fractions, the denominators are the same. We just add the numerators. So here we add 3, add 4, 3 add 1, which is 4. Okay, and then the denominators the same, so 7. We do not add the denominators, we only add the numerators when the denominators are the same. Remember that. So now 3 add 1 and is 4, and then divided by 7, so the answer will be 4/7. Now we have 4 over 9, add 1 over 9. Okay, the denominators are the same again, so we have one denominator, and then 4 add 1 will be 5 divided by 9. Again, remember, we do not add the denominators. If the denominators are the same, we add the numerators and divide by the denominator. Similarly, assuming we are subtracting, this should be subtraction. Okay, assuming we are subtracting 3 over 7 minus 1 over 7. So we put the denominators are the same, the denominators are the same. So here is 7. 3 minus 1 is 3 minus 1 equals to 2. Okay, divided by 7. So the new answer will be 2 over 7. Here also, remember, we do not subtract the denominators. Even if you subtract, 7 minus 7 is 0. So you have a figure over 0. Okay, but the denominators are the same. So we keep the denominator and then we subtract. So if you are subtracting, as in this example, the denominators remain the same, then you add the numerators. If you are subtracting the same denominators, you keep the denominator as it is and then you subtract. So here again, 4 over 7 minus 1 over 9. 4 minus 1, okay, is 3. The denominators are the same. It's a 9. So we have 3 out of 9. We're talking about the lowest term. So now 3 out of 9. 3 is a factor of 3 and a factor of 9. How many 3's do we have in 3? 1. And how many 3's do we have in 9? 3. So our new answer in the lowest form is 1 over 3 or 1/3. So let's look at this one. Solve 2 over 5, add 1 over 3. So here we are adding, but the denominators are not the same. If we had 5 and 5, then we could add the numerator. But we don't have 5 and 5. We have 5 for one denominator and 3 for one denominator. So we need to change all to become the same denominators, which we did in yesterday's lesson. Okay, so now let's see how we change it. 5 and 3, the common multiple is 15. Okay, because 5 can go into 15 3 times, and 3 can go into 15 5 times. Okay, so let's look at 2 over 5. So I'll multiply 2 by 3 and 5 by 3, because that's the only way I can get the denominator of 15. So because I multiply 5 by 3 there, and I multiply 6 by 3, my new fraction will be 6 over 15. Okay, now if I reduce 6 over 15 to the lowest form, I'll get 2 over 5. But here we can't use 2 over 5 because we are adding it to 1/3. And 1/3 we can't straight away add because the denominators are not the same. So we have to do a few manipulations by multiplying. So now 2 over 5 becomes 6 over 15. Don't forget that. Then let's look at 1 over 3. Okay, to make the denominator 15, then we have to multiply by 5. So now we have 3 times 5, making the denominator 15, and 1 times 5, making the numerator 5. Okay, so now 1 over 3 becomes 15 over 5 over 15. Now 5 over 15, if we want the lowest form, is 1 over 3. But because we want to add, this is more convenient than in this form. So in place of 1 over 3, we are going to put 5 over 15. So our new fraction that we will add with the same denominator is 6 over 15. Add 5 over 15. So now, because we've made the denominators 15, our answer will have a 15 denominator. We have a numerator 6, add 5, which is 11. So our answer will be 11 over 15 when we add. Now when we subtract the same figures, 2 over 5 minus 1 over 3, I've already shown you how to change the denominators. So now we have 16 over 15 minus 5 over 15 from what we did earlier. Because the denominators are the same, we put the denominator 15. Now the numerator is a 6 minus 5 and it's 1. So our new answer is 1 over 15. I hope I'm clear on that. Okay, you can go and watch the video and see. Okay, so now arranging fraction in the order of size from maybe the lowest value to the highest. If you see a fraction or a group of fractions with different denominators, okay, if you have the same denominator like 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4 over 4, you can easily see the pattern because they have the same denominator. You know 1/4 is the lowest and 4 over 4 is the highest because the numerator 1 is a lower figure, a lower value, and is less than 4. But assuming you were not given that, you were given fractions with different denominators, as we can see here. Our first fraction is 2 over 5. Okay, our second is 3 over 20. Our third is 14 over 100, and our fourth is 3 over 4. 4 fractions, different denominators. We have a 5 denominator, 20 denominator, 100 denominator, and 4 denominator. How are you going to figure out which one is the lowest and which one will you put the highest? That is where, from yesterday, we need to change all the denominators and make the denominators the same. And as I just showed you, you cannot add or subtract without making the denominators the same. Okay, so now look at the fractions again. 2 over 5, 3 over 20, 14 over 100, 3 over 4. 100 is a multiple of 5, a multiple of 20, a multiple of 100, and a multiple of 4. Why? Because 5 times 20 is 100. Look at the second fraction. 20 times 5 is 100. 100 times 1 is 100. 4 times 25 is 100. So just by knowing the multiple, we are going to change all the fractions denominators to 100. So how do I do this? If I multiply 5 by 20 for the numerator, then I have to do the same to the top. So 5 times 20 is 100 here. And then 2 times 20 will give me 40. Second fraction, 20 times 5 is 100. 3 times 5 is 15. Now, third, 100 times 1 is 100. 14 times 1 is 14. So whatever you do to the denominator, you do it to the numerator. Okay? Otherwise, you've changed the fraction. But if you multiply it by a certain number, all you have to do to get it back to the lowest form is to divide to get back to the lowest form. Okay? The fourth fraction, 4 times 25 is 100. So 3 times 25 will also give you 75. So now we have the same 4 fractions here. Okay, so our first fraction is 40 over 100, 15 over 100, 14 over 100, 75 over 100. So looking at it carefully, 14 over 100 is the smallest numerator, 14, followed by 15 over 100, followed by 40 over 100, followed by 75 over 100. But now that we know which one is the largest, we go back and write it back as we had it in the lowest form, as the question stated. So now, in the question, we had 14 over 100. So our first value, fraction with the lowest value, is 14 over 100. Then the next one is 15 over 100, which is from 3 over 20. So 3 over 20 here. Now the third one is 2 over 5. So 2 over 5, we got it from 40 over 100. So now our third fraction will be 2 over 5. Then the last one, 3 over 4, okay, which is 3 over 4. So we have 3 over 4. So now, from the lowest to the highest is 14 over 40 over 100, pardon me, 3 over 20, 2 over 5, and 3 over 7. So just by making the numerator the same, the denominator the same, we have managed to write them from the highest to the lowest. Okay. These questions always come in fraction form, in decimal form. Okay. We'll solve more of these GCSE questions when I've finished introducing you some of these concepts. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.